Alrighty, it's your boy Zxous and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Anne and XMAS RUPEE and how they possibly could be rerunning for the first time in, I think, 6 months, because they came out in December, right? So literally the first time in 6 months, which is half a year. Wait, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. 7 months. Wow. Yeah. So they could be returning for the first time in 7 months with this upcoming banner. Now we do know that the next banner is going to be the swimsuit update, and we already, I mean, we don't really know because we've only ever had it once in terms of Nikke seasonal characters, but it's most likely that seasonal characters will be exclusives, especially if they have duplicates, right? Because there's 2 rupees in Nikke, and that's the only character in Nikke who actually has a duplicate, right? There's obviously this rupee right here, which is the regular one, and then there is the Christmas one, right? And I'm only going to assume when they have like 2 versions of these characters, if it's like a Christmas version of them, we are going to be getting they're going to be limited characters, right? So obviously Mary is the next character, right? The summer character, she is it. But we already have a Mary in the game, so it's most likely that this is going to be a limited banner. Now, because this is our second ever limited banner that's not a collab banner, this might be the first banner since literally Anne and RUPEE's release where they possibly could, you know, rerun. Now, in terms of when are they going to rerun, let me pull up Loot and Waifu's website, because his website is like literally the best website to show me these events, right? So obviously Miracle Snow, this is when they came out, right? And again, they're all limited characters. Now, people were saying that, you know, they could come back when Christmas comes back, and of course I am expecting them to rerun when Christmas comes out, right? Because if Christmas comes around and these characters do not rerun, that means you just have no chance of getting these characters ever, and that's what I'm gonna assume, unless they get like a rerun banner, right? But I'm going to assume, now here's one thing I guess, right? I don't know if they're actually going to add limited characters as unfeatured, right? Because we already have somewhat of a confirmation for rerun banners, or at least, I don't want to say we have confirmation really, because Alice got a banner, right? But she was already in the game. We've never had a rerun banner. So we've never had like a banner come out for a limited event or a limited time event and then that banner reran. Now, Alice, like I said, is a character who was in the game from the beginning of the game, but recently got a banner. And she was the first one to get a banner of a character that was already in the game. So the way Nikke's been doing stuff, it's kind of really hard to tell because they're doing something like once and then they're never doing it again, right? And most ways to tell if it's going to happen like this is if it happens multiple times, right? So for example, if we get another limited banner, which is this one, if we don't see the Christmas characters on this banner, we're going to know for a fact that limited characters will never be put on other limited banners, right? So what does that mean? That most likely means that they're guaranteed going to get a rerun. I'm not sure because we've never had a rerun, right? So they have to do these things first for us to really come together and say, okay, Nikke is going to be doing this, Nikke is going to be doing that. But I don't think that Anne and RUPEE would actually be unfeatured. I think if they were to rerun, they would rerun as banners, right? Just because, again, there's never been a limited as an unfeatured, and I don't think they're going to put these characters as an unfeatured. Honestly, I don't think they will. I don't know, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but if I have to wait, like, it makes sense that we have to wait till Christmas, but in most games, seasonal characters come out like regularly, not regularly, but like when seasonal stuff happens, right? I shouldn't have to wait a full year to get these characters, because let's say, for example, a lot of people start playing Nikke this year for Chainsaw Man, right? Are you telling me when Christmas comes around, there's 4 characters they're gonna have to summon for? 3 to 4 characters? These 2 characters, if they do rerun, and then the brand new character, and if they don't pull them, they have to wait a whole nother year. Like that's a bad way to go about these characters. Now, thankfully, both of these characters are not like god tier characters. Well, Anne is pretty broken in PvP, right? But in general, these characters are not like oh, must have this that, but they are characters that are like, again, they're limited characters, and it is worrisome when they have never reran and it's been 7 months. You know what I mean? It's kind of a bit scary. So I'm hoping that if on this banner, if they don't like pull up on the banner as unfeatured, then by Christmas, it's like, I don't know. Because I don't think we would have to wait for Christmas. If they were going to be unfeatured, I don't think we would have to wait for Christmas for them to be unfeatured. I think they should just be unfeatured on any seasonal banner, right? So for example, when the next Christmas event comes out, when the next Halloween event comes out, if they are going to do that, which I assume they are, because they did Christmas, they did summer, right? It only makes sense. Halloween is a very popular event. I'm only going to assume that these characters would most likely be unfeatured on those upcoming seasonal banners, right? But we don't have a confirmation until this banner actually goes live. Now, we don't even know exactly what is happening for the characters. I do know Mary is happening, right? I don't know if the Neon is still happening. Most likely not. They could have changed it, right? But there was an SSR Neon that was wearing the same swimsuit that she's holding right now, or at least the one Mary's trying to get her to wear. So most like, and then yeah, this like pink thing also is what yeah, so it is gonna be Neon as well, as like an SSR Neon, because this pink floaty is the same floaty that's in the SSR art for the swimsuit Neon. So I can only assume it's not gonna be a skin and it's gonna be a character because it said it was an SSR. But I don't really care. I mean, I do, but I hope that Anne and RUPEE rerun at least as unfeatured on these banners, right? Maybe if they want to go above and beyond, make it that we can also pity them as well, right? Make it that they're not rate up, but we could still pity them, right? Because again, these characters were limited characters already, right? We've never had a rerun banner, so we don't know if we are going to be able to pity them if they do end up rerunning for limited characters. Like, if not a pity banner, but like pity in general, right? If they are unfeatured and we can pity them. I know there's a lot of games that do that, but I do think that Anne and RUPEE should come back on this banner as unfeatured. If not, then they're most likely never going to be unfeatured, but they will there's a possibility they will rerun with their main banners rather than being rerunning as an unfeatured, right? Because like I said before, Nikke has been doing like one thing and then will never do it again. So it's very, very, very hard to say how Nikke is going to go about handling limiteds, how we're going to go about handling seasonals, right? This is the first or the second seasonal since last year that we have gotten in this game, right? And obviously we had a collab character, and even for the collab, which were limited, these characters were not there as unfeatured. So if you want to go off of that, then we know that they're not going to be unfeatured here, right? And I just don't think they're going to come back maybe like Christmas as unfeatured, but probably as main banners. But like I said, I don't think it's fair that we have to wait a whole year. I get their Christmas unit, so it makes a lot of sense that they come back on Christmas, but essentially we have to wait a whole year to pull these characters, and if we don't pull them, every year Christmas comes around, there's just more and more characters you have to aim for, basically, if you're a collector, right? If I don't end up pulling these characters when they first came out, especially everybody who doesn't have these characters right now, you don't have them right now, right? If Christmas comes around and they drop 2 characters, that's 4 characters you're gonna have to go for if you're a collector. If you don't get any of the 4 characters and the next year comes around, that's going to be maybe 5 to 6 characters that you have to go for, right? It just doesn't make sense that you have to wait a year to go all this deep. And then for all we know, New Year's might have a Pilgrim right behind it too. So I really think they should kind of like work on putting these characters out for every seasonal banners, but that's just my opinion. You guys definitely let me know what you think, if you agree with me or not. It's your boy Zxous. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out later. Peace.